name's Jamie Lee, and today I'll be doing a review of the TV series Baby Reindeer. Now, this series was not what I expected it to be. I knew that it was based off a comedian, so I thought it would have aspects of comedy in it. It would be pretty light-hearted, while still having some aspects of a thriller to it, because obviously he had a female stalker. And the thing that made it more interesting was that he actually had his female stalker in real life. The things that happened in this show are based on a true story. So they did happen to this man. And I heard all the buzz about it, and I just thought, I want to know the story. I want to hear the truth, and I want to know what happened to this guy's real life stalker. So I thought I'd dive in and watch it. When I got into this series, it was not a comedy at all. It was not lighthearted at all. It was so deep. It was so raw. It was emotionally challenging. When I watched it, I felt a range of emotions, and I thought different things, and then I felt different things. Like I felt pity, and I felt anger, and I felt sadness towards these people. And then at the end of it, it was like a really grim ending. Like I remember just finishing it and going, wow, that's real life. This stuff happens to people in real life. And I did love the series because of all the reasons that I'm going to go on to mention now. But just at the end, it was just so bleak. It was like, wow, that is life for some people. And it was really eye-opening to watch. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. So the story follows Donny Donn, played by Richard Gadd, and he is this struggling writer, comedian to make an income, living away from home. He works at this bar. One day, Martha, played by Jessica Gunning, walks through the door, sits at the bar, and she is just covered in sadness. She's alone. You can tell that she's upset, and Donny offers her a drink. She can't afford one, so he offers her a cup of tea on their house for free. And that one act of kindness to a stranger completely changes his life forever. Martha becomes this nightmare stalker. She obsesses over him. She follows him around. She interferes with his life in every way that she possibly can. And their complicated relationship is just that. It's complicated. He's forced to make decisions and follow paths that he might not have chosen. And he's really forced to face these fears and to tackle his abuse and his traumatic past that he's really kept buried for a long time. So he's forced to face his fears head on. The show is really good for a lot of reasons. The first one that comes to mind for me is the performances. So this is a true story. This was written, directed, and performed by Richard Gadd. And that is something to normally be commended for. But in this, he has gone through so much abuse. He has a really traumatic past. So the fact that he is writing about his experiences, directing his experiences, and then performing out things that were done to him, that is extremely courageous. And I just can't imagine that somebody would go to those lengths to, he's reliving these horrific memories and this hurtful past that he's had. He's reliving all that on screen. So I thought he did a really, really good job. It was very emotional. It was very raw. You could feel that everything that he was acting was authentic and genuine. You just felt it. It all just came across as really natural on screen. And his performance was really, really courageous in my opinion. The next performance was absolutely standout, award-winning for sure. She was so perfect. Jessica Gunning played Martha, who was Donny's mentally ill, deranged stalker. And every scene that she was in, she just stole it. She was so captivating. And it just blew my mind that you could watch this insecure, sad woman who lacked confidence, and like Donny in the show, you felt sadness for her, you felt sorry and pity for her, to then becoming this funny, confident, and you were sort of curious about her character woman, to then transforming into this violent rage monster, constantly screaming and just being an absolute terrifying woman to be around. It just blew my mind that all of those were the same actress. She was so perfect at playing somebody who lacked confidence, someone who was confident, someone who was mentally ill, someone who was deranged and really violent and angry. It blew my mind that she owned every single one of those personalities. It was absolutely amazing, her performances. Another actress who was really captivating in the show was Nava Mao, who plays Terry, Donnie's transgender girlfriend in the show. I loved her performances, and just like Jessica, I was really amazed at how quickly and fluently these women could portray different personalities in a way. Like, we got to see Terry as this confident woman who was full of life and so sure of herself and who she wanted to be. And after the attack on Martha, Neva just played Terry so differently. She so fluently became this woman who was not sure of herself, and she had so much pain, and she was so confused and hurt and lacking confidence that we'd originally seen her in. So to portray these two different women so fluently, just like Jessica did, these multiple personalities so easily, it came across on screen, to me anyway, really natural, and it really made the show really easy to watch. Apart from the performances, I really loved how conflicting and complicated this story was. Richard could have given us a show that was all about this stalker who was this crazy stalker and paint her out to be a villain and him as the victim. And honestly, I thought at the start that that's how this story was going to go, but he was so honest about everything. He was honest about his struggling career, his fears with his sexuality, his fears with relationships, his parents, his own thoughts about his stalker and, his wants and needs for attention or to be noticed, to be recognized by anybody. He was so raw and openly honest about all that. And I have so much respect for him for being raw and openly honest about all that. Because as I said, he could have painted Martha as this villain. And she was a crazy stalker. But we also got to see her mentally ill side, her deranged, sick side. And we got to feel what Donny felt for her. We felt pity, we felt sadness, we felt sorry for her. And even though Richard or Donny was the victim, we also got to feel a range of emotions with him as well. I don't know how many times I was yelling at the TV, why did you take her on a coffee date knowing that she's not right here? Why did you take her home and not call a cab that night? Why didn't you report her to the police after she'd done or said what she'd said to you? Those things aren't right. They're not normal. And in a way, he was encouraging some of her behavior. So it really blurred the lines of, well, it didn't blur the lines of what's right and wrong. I know what's right and wrong, but this show helped me to open my eyes to see that even though you know what's right and wrong, sometimes when you're put in situations in life, you don't do what's right or wrong. You might know something's right and do the opposite or vice versa. So it really opened my eyes to life, I guess, and to realize that this is based on a true story. So there are people that this happens to. This is the truth in somebody's story. So it really did open my eyes. And at the end of it, I'm not going to lie, I felt really grim. I felt a little bit sad, like, I'm sorry that people have to go through this. And both people, all people, Martha, Donny, Terry, all of them had these complications and these struggles in their life. And yeah, it was really eye-opening and really sad to think about that, what people go through in life. I can honestly say that I wouldn't watch this series again, because I did at the end of it. As I said, I felt really grim and like it was really deep and darker than I expected it to be, this show, but it did open my eyes to things. And I really want to say that it was a good watch, even though it was a sad watch, because the performances, as I said, were absolutely outstanding. And I had to just take a step back and look at it as this is Richard retelling his life experiences. It's not a story for me to be entertained by or, critique and judge, because let's be honest, everybody critiques and judges everybody's life. So you can sit there and say, I would have done this or I should have done that. But the really interesting thing to me about this story is the fact that it was based on a true story. So this did happen to him. And I feel so much respect for him for writing this, being courageous in performing this. And it was his story to tell. So yes, I can sit there and say that I won't watch it again, but that's not because I didn't enjoy it. It's because of how it made me feel. It made me feel like the world is a really dark place. And I'm a person who likes to believe that the world is a really bright place. And I try to make it brighter and, just have these happy glasses on all the time because I love life and I want life to be happy. But in reality, it's not for everybody. Some people do go through these things, and it does make me feel the emotions that I felt in this show. So I definitely won't watch it again, but I definitely did enjoy it. It was shot really perfectly. But yeah, it's definitely not for everybody. But let me know in the comment sections if you've watched this. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section if it's not your cup of tea. Pun intended there. Sorry, bad joke. But yeah, I really did enjoy watching this one, but I won't watch it again. And I really praised the performances in it because I thought everybody was incredible and I really did enjoy watching this series. So please make sure that you give this video a like. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. Then head over to my gaming channel and give me a sub over on that as well, please. And the links to all my socials are in the description box. So please go and give me a follow on all of them as well. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, sweet ass, have a good day. Bye.